All right, Raider Nation, big day around the league. One move sets off another. That's how this always goes. Cutdown day is almost here. August 26th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Teams have to go from 90 to 53. That means signings. That means trades. That means front offices grabbing the last pieces they think they need. Days like this can tilt a season. The Raiders need to be ready to jump if the right door opens. What's up, Raiders fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Raiders. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Raiders. Let's start with Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals are shopping him. That part isn't new. The new part is the price tag. Diana Rossini says Cincinnati told teams they want a young defensive player and a 2026 first-round pick. The young player doesn't even have to be a pass rusher. That's a big ask. I get why they set it high to start, but Cutdown changes leverage. As the clock runs and cap math tightens, those huge numbers can soften. Timing matters here. Patience matters too. If the Raiders are checking on Trey Hendrickson, it also means they've been looking at other edge options. We've talked about Jadeveon Clowney. We've talked about Matthew Judon. Judon just signed a one-year deal with the Dolphins worth up to $6 million. When an option comes off the board, urgency goes up. That's normal supply and demand in the NFL. You still hold your line on value, but you keep working the phones because the pool is shrinking and the window is short. Here's why this matters for Vegas. Build the trenches. We say it all the time because it wins on Sundays. The Raiders looked better against the 49ers than they did against Seattle. That was a good step forward. But the defensive line still isn't where we hoped it would be when the early Christian Wilkins talk started. Add this too. Charles Snowden could face a 3-game suspension from that DUI case. That's a depth hit and a rotation spot you plan to use. Meanwhile, Tyree Wilson has looked good at defensive tackle. That gives you a clean plan you can actually run with. Kick Tyree inside more often. Go trade for Trey Hendrickson. Let him live on the edge and rush the passer. I'll be straight with you on Malcolm Koonce. He hasn't looked like himself this offseason. I've torn an ACL. I know the grind to get back. It's not a straight line. It takes time and it takes trust. I'm not Malcolm, but the burst doesn't look like 2023 right now. So if I'm the Raiders, I ask a simple question. Is this the moment to upgrade the edge room and let Tyree eat more snaps at DT? To me, that's a real path that fits what we're seeing on tape and in camp. If I'm calling Cincinnati, I start low. I'll say it clearly. Low ball first. Why? Because they've told the whole league what they value most. Offense. They paid T. Higgins. They paid Jamar Chase. They paid Joe Burrow. Massive money across the board. If they're not going to pay Trey Hendrickson, time is on the buyer's side. My pitch is simple. I can save you about $30 million per year. Will they take the first offer? No, they won't. But I'm not blinking at their opening number either. We talk. We push. We see if there's a middle ground that makes sense. Now, let's stay realistic about our side. The Raiders already paid Max Crosby this offseason. Huge number. Highest paid non-QB range. And every time the Micah Parsons chatter heats up, the market for edge rushers creeps higher. That's just how it goes. So I'd make the offer now, before the price ticks up again. I also expect Cincinnati to counter. If they give up Trey Hendrickson, they'll want a young edge back in the deal. You're not getting Max Crosby. So the conversation becomes Malcolm Koonce or Tyree Wilson. That's the fork in the road. If they force that choice, I pick Malcolm. Here's why. It's 1 year, around $12 million. That's a cleaner swap for both sides. And I believe Tyree helps us inside at defensive tackle. That inside-out flexibility matters in this scheme and in this division. Malcolm has struggled a bit this offseason. Trey Hendrickson is the better pure edge right now. Slide Tyree Wilson inside more often. Put Trey Hendrickson on the edge. The room gets better fast, and the rotation has a clearer shape. In a perfect world, I keep Malcolm, I keep Tyree. And I still add Trey Hendrickson. But if the Bengals insist on a young player plus a pick, that's the trade-off I accept because it upgrades the front and keeps Tyree's upside in the building. All right, let's talk wide receivers. Gabe Davis visited the Steelers again. That's a second visit. Why do we care? Because the Raiders are looking at wideouts, trades, and free agents. If a field stretcher like Gabe Davis signs, the market moves. When a top seat gets filled, other names shake loose. The Raiders feel good about their top 4. That's fair. But Jacoby Myers wants an extension. He's in a contract year mindset, and that's natural. The team keeps hunting speed. If Gabe Davis comes off the board, another chair moves on the carousel. Do the Raiders pivot? Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I don't want a random free agent just to say we did something. I'm not chasing an Amari Cooper reunion or end of roster flyers. If you're talking about a big swing, people bring up Terry McLaurin. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm saying if you spend picks or real money, make sure the player truly changes how defenses line up and how safeties play you. Now, the move that could help the most right now. Dalton Risner visited the Bengals. They need a guard after losing Alex Kappa. I'll keep it simple and direct. Dalton Risner is a better lineman than Alex Kappa. That's why it stung not to see the headline. The Raiders are hosting Dalton Risner. That's the visit I wanted to hear about. We need interior offensive line depth, period. Caleb Rogers isn't ready yet. Alex Kappa has a rib issue. We're still debating Thayer Munford on the roster. I like the starting five a lot. Colton Miller at left tackle. Dylan Parham at guard. He's been better, and I'm fired up about him. Jordan Meredith looks steady at right guard. JPJ in the mix. DJ Glaze at right tackle. I can win with that five. After that five, there are a lot of questions and not enough proven answers. So I want the Raiders to sign a lineman. I want Dalton Risner. Would I still call Brandon Scherf even though he retired last week? Yes, I would. One more run, one more million. Vegas, you in? Maybe he doesn't want to be a backup. That's fair. If not, I'm looking at Shaq Mason and Mark Glowinski as more realistic backup types for depth. But Dalton Risner is the best interior option on the street right now. He has ties to Brian Stark in our building. Seeing him visit Cincinnati felt like a gut punch. Adding one real veteran inside turns the plan from pray for health to we can handle a nick and keep the plan intact. And I'll be blunt. We are one injury away from the Geno Smith plan getting shaky. If Aiden O'Connell or Cam Miller has to play behind a soft interior, the ceiling drops fast. Depth keeps your season alive. Depth buys you hope and buys your quarterback time. One more quick schedule note before we wrap. Joe Flacco is the Browns' starting quarterback. Not a shock. Dylan Gabriel got preseason reps. Sheeter Sanders looked good. Kenny Pickett is in that room too. Adam Schefter says they might carry 4 quarterbacks. Ian Rappaport reported the Joe Flacco news today. Why does it matter for us? The Raiders play the Browns in Week 12. Will Flacco still be the starter then? If they're in the hunt, probably yes. If they slide, maybe they look at someone else, like Shedder Sanders. I'll be honest. I hope it's Shedder Sanders by then. Better shot to win. More eyes on the game. More juice in Allegiant. That's good for everybody in the building. So here's the bottom line. Today's moves tighten the market at edge, at corner, and at guard. If the Raiders want to raise the floor before cutdown day, the targets are sitting right in front of them. Trey Hendrickson on a smart, disciplined deal. A veteran corner like Stephon Gilmore to steady the room and help the young guys. Dalton Risner to protect the middle and keep the offense on schedule. Build the trenches. Protect the quarterback. Add one more closer on defense. Then let the rest of the roster breathe. Play fast and go win game.